Thank you. Ms. Lightbarker, once again, I want to thank you for representing our home state so well. Without any question, South Carolina continues to be a nationwide leader in financial literacy efforts, and I have been impressed by your ingenuity in those efforts when it comes to fraud and scam prevention. I was recently reading about your partnership with the South Carolina Department of Aging to once again deliver scam prevention and education materials to seniors alongside their meal delivery. I think that is brilliant. I mean, honestly, when we're having a meal delivered, if you're able to deliver information during that time, if I'm hungry, I'm going to read it. It's just the way my body works. So I think that is just a fantastic way of taking advantage of a positive opportunity to engage with our seniors, especially in a time where they're going to be more interested, perhaps. Can you share some insights from that program and others that your department has carried out over the years?
Sure, thank you so much. So with that particular partnership, it actually started when we initially released Ditch the Pitch back in 2015. At that point, it was Lieutenant Governor's Office on Aging, and they were gracious enough to put these on the meals. And it's folks not only that are usually in our senior population, but some that are homebound as well. And so they're likely not going to come out to a presentation or an event where we are. And so whenever we do outreach, or create a publication or have some kind of campaign, we're looking to try and find those kind of pathways that we can get it into the hands of the folks who need it most. The Department on Aging is one of those. ARP is a great effort there. This Ditch the Pitch bingo that we have, we are part of a World Elder Abuse Task Force, and it's a group of 30 government and non-government agencies that all have some kind of touch point with the senior communities in South Carolina. It could be that they're continuing care retirement communities, or they provide in-home care services or things like that, and the Department on Aging is a part of that as well. But it allows us to network so we know each other's services, so when they are out and about as well, and here's something they can say, that's an issue Consumer Affairs can assist with, or you need a presentation on this topic, that's Consumer Affairs. And we're able to get the word out because we're only 47 full-time employees, and so leveraging those resources at all levels is very important.
For those who don't live in South Carolina, if you don't live in South Carolina, I really don't know why you don't, but in the end, 47 employees, really we have 46 counties, so it's literally one person per county if you look at it from that perspective. Right. It's a massive opportunity and responsibility. Opportunity to work more than 40 hours a week, and the responsibility to engage with as many residents around our state as humanly possible. So we thank you very much for the work that you're already doing.
Thank you.
Let me ask you another question. Sometimes sitting here in Washington, it's easy to get stuck in the Beltway mindset and overlook many of the innovative ideas and solutions that are created within our states. I pride myself in thinking that my goal as a legislator, as an elected official, is not necessarily to be the origin of great ideas, but to be the conduit of great ideas. It's one of the reasons why I love going home every weekend back to South Carolina to hear from my constituents and some experts and people who've just had real life experience on what the solution is to said problem. And I look at that from this same perspective when it comes to scams and frauds and dealing with some of the challenges that we face. One of the things that I think we have to do is make sure that we never lose hope that we will win this fight. I mean, time and time again, it feels like the more we see scams being successful, the less energy we have to fight them because we kind of feel like we've lost that fight. And that's never a strong position to respond from. So I refuse to believe that we have lost a fight. Mm-hmm. Are there lessons that we can learn from South Carolina to fight these criminals and prevent harmful scams? Can you please speak to some of the partnerships you have with financial institutions as well as law enforcement to educate, prevent, and combat such crimes?
Sure. So we are not territorial. I mean, we don't say this is our sandbox. We don't want others in it. We certainly invite others in on all levels. We're an agency that regulates non-depository financial institutions, and so we have relationships with folks who are dealing with consumers' monies and financial products in that way. So we'll partner with the South Carolina Bankers Association to do education for their members and other trade associations as well on the scams that we're seeing, because oftentimes it's not just consumer related. Businesses fall victim to scams as well, which ultimately impact the prices and the services that they're providing to those consumers. So making sure that we don't have blinders on to just stay in a certain lane and trying to be as broad as we can in our outreach. And with law enforcement, we partner with different sheriff's associations, the Police Chiefs Association. I just got a contact from Beaufort County where they were reaching out about a cryptocurrency ATM that was being used for some scams there. So having those relationships, building the relationships, and making sure that we're getting out to those members of our business communities to let them know what we're seeing, let them know what to watch out for, and again, that our services that are available and others of our partners too.
Mr. Chairman, I'll finish with this thought. Listening to the witnesses, one thing that comes to mind is that many of us as elected officials do some type of a teletown hall back in our states, and it seems like it would be helpful for us to have in our respective states a teletown hall that includes the AARP, whatever the iteration of your consumer financial agency is in each state, putting them together and then doing one extra step, which is looking at those folks who are homebound, perhaps who may be more vulnerable, because if you're there all the time, you're more likely and more inclined to pick up the phone, perhaps. If we were able to target those folks back at home to make sure that we are including them in a teletown hall, that might be a way for us to address these issues, and not just through legislation, but through information that we can disseminate from our elected official positions.